Your early days from UK, then US to Middle East. What was the changes that you saw, Bashar?
I think the Middle East at that point in time was an early rising environment or nation. Technology was high on the agenda, but Dubai was a village. Dubai was at that time a place of potential. And it's the spirit of entrepreneurship and very ambitious environment that was in Dubai.
So, leadership, people, clarity, and long term thinking. Do you think these are the traits that every founder should have? And how do you coach them or advise them on people, clarity, and long term thinking? How they should build a team, how they should look at a problem and try to resolve it, solve it, and how it is all done in the startup ecosystem now. You have been trained at large corporate, and from coming those learning and transforming that to help founders through the Thai ecosystem as well as through other advisory role that you have. How do you do that, and what do you see?
Look, entrepreneurship is changing as well as any business in the world. So, the name of the game, in my view, is focus. You need to be able to very much focus on your idea or your solution or your innovation. And you need to be an expert in it. And you need to be two, three steps ahead of everybody who is engaged with you on this. Reality is, it's very important to understand the kind of problem you are addressing and the solution that you are providing.
Mhm.
That is, in my view, the first thing. The second thing is, we are in the business of working with people. It changes over time. There's probably more technology now than it was maybe a decade or two ago. But reality
Mhm.
is, it's important to engage people around you and demonstrate leadership. I think a founder needs to ask himself every day, why would people follow me? Why would people want to work with me? And that's very critical to articulate exactly the purpose of the engagement, the objective of this partnership, and then how will this really contribute to the success of the organization. It must, all of it must have a North Star and a very clear purpose and objective. That's always been uh, what kind of drives founders. And if you miss out on one of them, either clarity and focus or your people leadership and engagement, or the purpose of what you're doing, uh, things will not move in the right direction.
Right, right. I completely agree with you. As the president of Thai Dubai, you must be meeting with a lot of founders, and at times they will be coming to you and pitching to you for funding, for guidance. When you meet with a founder today, what makes a pitch stand out beyond the product and the numbers that they are pitching with? What do you look in a ideal founder profile that yes, this is the person who can deliver the results that we are talking about?
Look, the founder is the beginning and the end of this. So you might have a great story, you might have a good set of numbers, but reality is, if the founder is not convincing, things will not go to the next level. And when you look at founders who can really articulate the problem and the challenge and also articulate the solution, but they must also demonstrate leadership. And with that, I mean a track record. They must demonstrate why people should trust them. Why should people believe in their ambition? Why should people also give them the benefit of the doubt that they can actually manage a business and an organization, manage money, manage the cash, and manage the business? So the founder plays, in my view, a very pivotal role in how this organization and how this engagement is going to happen. Track record, uh, have they done any exits in the past? How well do they understand the problem, the industry, and are they the material to drive leadership that can actually uh, take this organization to the next level? That is a big part of the story.
Storytelling, communication is a big part of a success of a founder in their startup journey. How do you value storytelling in the whole system? That when a founder comes with, he's able to paint a picture like a Picasso, does that move the needle for you? And what role do you think storytelling has in the life of a founder?
Articulation. Uh, People build metaphors, people relate to things. And it's very important to be able to articulate your ideas, your messages in metaphors that people understand. Storytelling makes people remember what you discussed, and it gives you credibility as well.
Mhm.
It's an art and a science, yeah. So normally we encourage people to have realistic stories, to put some numbers into them, because numbers really change the conversation and make it more factual and much more grounded. Um, I gave the example of Dubai when I first came in the year 2000, just mentioning the two data points on the number of people using the airport or people living in the city gives you a realistic idea of what Dubai was at that point in time and what it is today and where it is going. So building a story also makes the founder uh, more at ease when they present the story and they present their narrative. Uh, we are all in the business of telling stories. We are humans. We relate to stories. And ultimately, the numbers must be okay. The charts must be okay. But if the messaging and communication skills, which reflect on the leadership and the capabilities of the founders, are not what people expect, then things will fall apart.
Yeah. Yeah. Now let's talk about, you and I both come from the talent industry. Uh, Talent as the growth strategy. How do you rate talent in the success of a company, a startup, maybe small enterprises and large enterprises also? And how to identify a good talent for a startup who doesn't have the ability to go and buy the uh, talent on the right market salary or above market salary, how they can fix this issue.
Look, we are in the business of talent, and I always say talent before technology. Reality is today in any business, it's maybe 20, 30% technology and data, 70% culture and talent.
Mhm.
100%. So good people, good leadership create excellent culture, and that creates a successful business in my point of view. Now, how to find this challenge, how to find talent is interesting and challenging and changing from time to time. Interesting, last month I was meeting with a number of founders. It was actually in London, and we were talking about where they find their talent and what kind of talent they're looking for in the age of AI. And the interesting message that I got was they are looking for young talent. They're looking for people who have been in the market only for 2 or 3 years because they feel that these people are AI native. They can understand the business models better and quicker. And surprisingly, they were telling me, we're not looking for people with 10 years experience. There is too much of unlearning they need to do. And
Wow.
that kind of struck me because how can you unlearn ways of doing things, or how can you unlearn experience? But reality is, in this new world, we're looking for people who can learn and unlearn. We're looking for people who can continuously develop themselves. we are getting into an era where AI and data are going to redefine almost every business model. So I feel we are looking for talent that is agile. We're looking for talent that is willing to learn and unlearn and uh, understand new concepts. We're looking for talent maybe that is at universities or going through MBA programs, and we can offer them abilities to engage early in their careers. So I think the world we're looking at in the AI era is a world of continuous learning. It is a world where attitude and ability to adapt and change, and as I said, learn and unlearn, are more important than the technical skills that you bring with you or the in-depth industry knowledge that you might have.
So, but let's talk a little more about the talent. Hiring for scale and hiring for survival. These are the two different aspects of the hiring that a company has to do. Who are the best right type of talent when you are really hiring for survival? And in the context of a startup company, a startup company, 1 year old in the market, may have raised some funds from friends and family round, maybe an angel round. How can they build the team and what type of talent they should look first to hire as a survival tool, and then how to transform that team for scale?
This is a good question. So I think mainly founders and startups start normally with bootstrapping and relying on skills and capabilities that they can borrow and steal from friends and family, uh, and so on. And reality is, I want to talk more about the era that we are living in, which is the AI era. It is important also to consider technology. So today, there are so many tasks that can be done and should be done using AI. And that's an important element. So the type of skills and talent we're looking for should be, in my view, of three qualities, or have three qualities or attributes. One is they must be technically solid. They need to be able to handle agents and agentic AIs and create data and understand what are the basics of the AI economy. And today, most of the young people in universities and even in the early careers are good in that. Number two, I think looking at people with a creative mindset, ability to think out of the box, being creative, being able to innovate, look at things and think out of the box, challenge the norms, and do it in a different way. We are at a time where AI will transform everything we know, and why not challenge everything we deal with in our work? And the third attribute or quality is, of course, in my view, leadership. And under leadership, I, of course, put communication styles, adaptability, leading by example, integrity. So these are the kind of three qualities I feel most organizations, whether they're startups or even at the time of scale, need to look at. Um,
Mhm,
so for startups, it's obvious that they need to get more reliant on technology and less on human capital and capabilities. As
mhm,
people scale in the age of AI, reality is we need to keep another focus on technology. How much can we scale using AI? How much
mhm,
can we scale using technology? And of course, finding the experienced talents that can open new markets or take the organization to a different scale is dependent on where the business is in terms of its maturity. So we do a lot of leadership assessment exercises when companies
mhm,
are about to get a huge fund or a check.
mhm,
At that time, let's assume you have a company that's doing, I don't know, $1 or $2 million of revenue, and now you want to inject some cash and you want to start looking at 10 or $20 million of revenue. This is where we need to look at the leadership. Do we have the right team that can actually take this business and scale it 10x? Do we have the
Mhm.
right CFO? Do we have the right COO? Do we have the right CEO? Can this business go into a 10x mode in the next 3 or 5 years? And
Mhm.
number one attribute of whether it can or cannot is the leadership team. If you have the right leadership that you can focus on, then things are much easier. So
Right.
it's different situations, but I think every time the organization goes through a step change, Series A, Series B, Series C, there should be a discussion on leadership and talent, and do we have the right leadership? Do we have the right talent? And what does it take it to the next level?
Yeah, but sir, I have gone through over 3,000 pitch decks and over 1,000 companies has pitched to me at various events and the events that we do internally also. In their funding slide, there will be that this much or X% is going to be for hiring or team building and all those things. But when you start talking to them that how you're going to find this talent, they generally go to the group of influence that they have within their friends, their college, their incubator accelerator, and I feel that is not the right place to look for exceptional talent. What is happening in Dubai and the Middle East, and where they can go and find talent? These talents are also not available on these resume portal that you get access to, be it whatever career builder, monster, dice, and whatnot. How a founder can solve that problem, where they should go and look for a talent.
That's a very good question. And I normally rephrase the question and ask them, do you have an advisory board? Do you have mentors who can help you with this? Because as a founder, in most of the cases, you do not have the visibility of what this would look like and how this company could look like in a different market, in a different size, in a different scale. Yeah. And normally, when I ask founders, I tell them, today you're doing, let's say, X. If your company was doing 5X, how would it look like? How would you run it? What kind of P&L does it have? And for that, it's important that you have a mentor, and in many cases also a board.
Mhm.
And these are people who are not from this immediate circle that you know, because the biggest danger is that you remain in the same circle of people and organizations, and you don't get a chance to grow outside of that network, to get connected into the bigger and wider pool around the world. And
Mhm.
normally, the answer is, if you have the right mentor and if you have the right board, it is important that they also advise you that there are many other ways for you to look at talent
Mhm.
beyond the normal circle of uh, convenience that you have. And one of them is, of course, uh, a wider network, a more access to people in different places. And of course, there are people who do this as a profession and they do the right work in it, in executive search or businesses in that field. Uh, Today, a lot of the VCs or sovereign funds, before investing in any company significant amounts of money, they want to make sure that an exercise on leadership assessment, leadership development has taken place, and that they have access to the right skills through recruiters or executive search. But they will not give them funds until they're satisfied that the new system and the new governance model is well articulated and there is proper leadership that will drive this.
Mhm. Mhm. So true. Now, coming on that point, the founders who have just raised some money, not the Series A, but the angel round, they don't have enough. funds with them to pay a professional recruiter or an executive search team to pay the 25-30% of the first year annual salary as the hiring fee. What do you have for them? How they can take the same best of the industry expertise to help you build the team, but you don't have the money to afford them.
You know, like any business, this is supply and demand. If they want the best talent, there is a cost for that, yeah. And there's also a cost for not getting the best people onto the team. And sometimes it's more detrimental to hire the wrong people and waste a year or two before realizing that you might have been better off getting the right talent in the first place. Um, I understand every uh, founder needs to be very careful with how they spend the money to maximize the impact. And it's very important that people understand that talent, as I mentioned at the beginning, is about 70% of your success story.
Mhm.
Technology is definitely not the main factor of success. Technology is available. Technology is today, with the age of artificial intelligence, uh, widely available. It's really the creative, talented, tech savvy leaders that will make a difference. So it's important that you, as a founder, look at your overall story and see where you want to spend the money. In my view, talent and leadership comes in many cases before technology, and it's so critical to hire the right people.
So now in this segment, we are going to talk about the navigating the funding and partnership, the Middle East advantage. You are at the biggest hub in the Middle East, in Dubai. How is the MENA region evolving in terms of funding for startups, ecosystem maturity, and the global relevance? What do you see happening in the ecosystem and how Thai is operating in that?
Look, the Middle East is now front and center. This AI revolution really put the Middle East in the center of technology and development. Yesterday, the Crown Prince of Saudi Arabia was visiting with President Trump in the White House, and the amount of deals and businesses around AI and technology are really phenomenal. And what that really means is there are huge investments in the Middle East today in infrastructure, but also in the wider ecosystem. I think there are tens of billions of dollars being invested by Abu Dhabi, by Saudi Arabia, by Qatar in AI companies. I've never seen so many US or European or Indian or Singaporean companies coming to set up businesses in the Middle East in order to engage and benefit from the big investments that are happening in technology, like what we're seeing in these days. And of course, that ecosystem is very healthy because you have the corporations at the top, you have the mid-sized scale-up companies, and there is a huge focus on startups and uh, companies that complete
Mhm.
the pyramid. And there is a healthy flow of capital and talent between all these different companies and entities. So, having said that, I feel the Middle East now in the AI economy is probably, after Silicon Valley and London and so on, one of the most attractive places for founders to be and to align to the vision and align with the uh, transformative capabilities of the AI economy. This has not been the case 5 years ago or 10 years ago. I would argue the Middle East was maybe 2, 3% of the global entrepreneur system. Today, it's a much bigger and more significant player in the AI economy. And the Middle East also, whether it's Dubai or Abu Dhabi or Saudi Arabia, has made it much easier for entrepreneurs to come and set up in the Middle East. If you are a talent, you will get a golden visa, you will get an extended support, you will get a lot of things. And the Middle East is becoming more and more an attractive hub for people from India, from the wider Middle East, Europe, to come and set up business in the Middle East. And of course, another thing that we are seeing is the recent changes in the H-1B visa in the US has also
Yeah.
made uh, two things. One is more talent is choosing to settle in the Middle East rather than the US. But we've also seen people leaving the US and repatriating to their home countries. And
Yeah.
some of them go back, and others find in the Middle East a new home.
Let's talk about the wisdom for next generation. If you have to guide a young founder today, what are those quick mentorship lessons that you would like to give somebody who is very motivated, want to change the world? What are those nuggets that you would like to share, Bashar?
Believe me, that's the most interesting part of the Thai mentorship opportunity that we're looking at. I enjoy speaking to the young founders, and I really uh, find it amazing. First of all, as I mentioned, I try to learn from them because let's face it, they are
Mhm.
wired in a different way than we were 20 or 30 years ago. They live in a digital world, they are AI native, and for them, a lot of concepts that we are used to, like hierarchy or basic things like sometimes processes and so on do not make sense to them. And I
Mhm.
like their way of thinking. And if I give them advice, normally I kind of tell them to do three things. One is to remain curious and be open to change, because the only thing that is constant in our life is change. And they're going to see more change in their lifetime than we have seen. If I just look at the AI economy in the last 5 years, I'm sure we've all experienced so much change, probably that would have taken decades. We've seen it in 3 or 4 years. So remain curious and adaptable, because change is the name of the game. The
Yeah.
other point is learn and unlearn. The days of long term, steady roles and jobs are over. We will have to learn and unlearn a lot of talent and skill, and we will have to be able to uh, really adapt and reinvent ourselves several times as we go through our careers. Um, and the third one is work on yourself and invest in your capabilities as a leader. And with that mean state of the art communication skills, empathy, integrity. Uh, these are the human qualities that will remain with us forever, no matter which age and uh, era of technology we are living in. We
Mhm.
need to be empathetic. We need to be able to communicate with integrity. We need to have integrity at the core of everything we are doing. And we need to be able to act as humans, where we relate with each other in a way that helps us really fulfill ourselves and live life to the max. So these are the three things I really encourage young people to look at, and I'm so happy to share with them stories. We sit more normally we have like 30-minute slots, and we sit for 90 minutes because I tell them a story after another, which might be relevant to them, of a situation that I came across during my times, and how I either learned from that because I didn't know how to do it, or I actually did something that turned out to be right. Uh, so it's an interesting conversation every time.